Hello everyone, this is Lawrence. Second video I have made today. My first video I was playing a little Fender guitar and I broke down a Beatles song called The Night Before. You know, chord structure and rhythm approaches, so you might want to take a look at that. This video contains to my vinyl collecting and my recent finds at thrift store. So I wish to share them with you before I put them in the library. Just a couple of thoughts on this year with my vinyl collecting. Fortunately, I got it like $100 plus for Christmas, and then Powie, Barnes and Noble had the 50% off of selected titles for vinyl, good titles too. Probably stuff that's been in inventory a long time and they wanted to clear it out. But in my previous videos, I shared what I got with everyone. It was incredible, 50% off. So album $23.99, you get it for a little over $10. And I got a number of albums I wanted to that came out during the CD era, but I wanted to hear on vinyl, so did that. I wanted to save that money to have it on hand for newer artists who put out albums I would like this year, but I'm down to one album now, so I have to rebuild my funds. This year I'm going for the more higher grade 180 gram vinyl or new vinyl, and kind of reduce my thrift store vinyl collecting, because I've been at that for like 10 years, and I got incredible collection. And I got on ground floor just prior to the vinyl revitalization or rediscovery, whatever you want to call it. And I got it on the ground floor when people were just dumping their albums at thrift stores, and they were pricing them at 25 cents, 50 cents, up to $1, and good titles too. And especially if you're eclectic side of collecting, which I am. That's how I develop my taste. So I got this enormous collection, and while you could still find interesting titles at thrift stores, it's not as good as it used to be. It's mostly grandma and grandpa, records from the 1950s. So I'm reducing my collection, and I've got my vinyl room rearranged and to where I can really go in there and enjoy. So what I'm doing with all the thrift store stuff I brought throughout the years, I buy it and maybe listen to a little bit of it and put it up. And I'm pulling this stuff out and rediscovering it, okay, which is cool. But for this year, in January, I got all of these albums at thrift stores, and I'll show you them individually. And also, while the hunt will continue for thrift store vinyl, what I buy will be reduced, and I'm going to be a little bit more picky, okay? The vinyl, with vinyl being popular now, thrift stores are really starting to mark up their vinyl higher, and that's been a problem. Also, you have the flippers that go in, but this is what I got this year so far. I love big band music. I got an unbelievable collection of music from the big band era, and this will be added to it. This is Woody Herman, put out by MCA Records. It's a gatefold. And on the back you have all the titles, and each year, each song was, the recording date for each piece. So this will be nice. This is part of the MCA series of big band music, and I've got about 4 of these. This makes about the 5th one. So they choose a band leader to put it in the series, and this is Woody Herman. These songs were, late 30s into the early 40s. This is a Canadian pressing of Kenny Rogers in the first editions. Okay, it's a beautiful, beautiful condition vinyl. Looks like it's never been played. Very basic collection, greatest hits package. And I was happy to get this, although I did find some of the selections to be kind of humdrum, with the best known songs: Ruby, Don't Take Your Love to Town, Something Burning. I just checked in to see what my condition is. This alone is, those songs alone, this is worth having. I'm not a big classical music guy. I do have a number of a stack of classical recordings about this big. I will listen to classical every now and then. I just don't understand it as much as I do rock and roll. I'm not a classical scholar, and I have classical recordings on the major labels, Gramophone being the main one. But I did find this the other day. It was only $1.49, and the vinyl's in beautiful condition. Of course, you remember the movie that came out in the 80s, on the life of Mozart, a drama. And the vinyl is very clean. It plays very well. I hardly heard any surface noise. Just one thing about classical recordings and the major classical label, you see, the classical music fan is more picky on their recordings, and they take a lot better care of their albums. So the classical labels, did a good job of better pressing and putting it on pure vinyl. Because with classical music, there's a lot of quiet passages, and you cannot have a lot of noise, if you can avoid it. When I find classical recordings at thrift stores, they are usually in excellent condition, because the classical music fan took better care of their records than the rock and rollers. Okay. This is probably the best find of the year. Guitar Slim. Some children at a railroad track, a picture of Slim, and on the back some information. And this is on the specialty label. And this is a 1970s reissue, but the record's in incredibly great condition. Like they hasn't been played that much. I'll put it back in here. Guitar Slim's not as known as like the B.B. Kings and the Albert Kings and the other great blues guitarists, but he was incredible. His peak period was the early 50s up to 59, and he died of alcoholism at the age of 33 in 1959. In fact, he died about a week after I was born. His tones were just incredible, and he used horns, bass, guitar, very basic, and drums, upright bass. But he also pioneered the use of fuzzy electric effects for guitars. Before Hendrix. It's a shame that he died because his career as a lot of blues artists was kind of going down. You know, styles were changing and all that. But had he lived with the British blues revival, his career would have shot back up. He would have been in demand again. So if he just held out those years, the lean years, that would have been great. I got this album, one of Jeff Beck's, the Jeff Beck group here. This came out 72. After I think Beck had a automobile accident, he took a bit of a break and then went and recorded this album with his group. I haven't fully listened to it, but what I've heard of it, I really like. Okay, to wrap this up, we're going into some of the more eccentric parts. This album, I've never heard of it, of this artist, but this album won a Grammy. It came out in the early 80s, or mid 80s, 86. It won a Grammy, and this artist here, I'm not going to pronounce their name, they're very renowned in the, kind of new age type of music. And the vinyl's in excellent condition. These last albums I show, and I got at the thrift store for 20 cents each. So I went ahead and got these. So I have to really listen to this. This next person, Jean-Pierre Rampal, is a renowned classical flutist. And so this is his best of album. It's in very good condition, and I'm looking forward to cleaning that up and listening to it. If you ever heard of Phase 4 Stereo London, that was the special division that specialized in newer pioneering stereo techniques. You can read about it. But I find a lot of those albums to be boring piano stuff, but they have some magnificent Spanish music on Four Phase, which I collect. And this is about the fourth album I have by this outfit here, which is basically singing with the traditional, backup of Latin music, the bongos and all that. Some more Latin, but more choiry. Look at that cover. Okay. So I'll give this a listen, see how that is. I know bullfighting's not politically correct these days, and I'm all against a sport that results in an animal being harmed. But having said that, bullfighting does have a culture. I hope they've changed it so the bull doesn't get it at the end. But it does have a culture to itself, and I got this Phase 4 album. I just skimmed through it, and it has a Tatistador, bullfighting music. So this is not an endorsement of bullfighting. I'm again against it, but I'm going to enjoy the music here. Okay, that's what I got so far. And I'm going to keep my thrift store vinyl collecting down to a minimum because I got so much, and I'm discovering what I bought for the last 10 years, going in more into the depth and listening to it, and I'm amazed. So your comments are welcome, okay? Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.